feeds on the environment.
So, environmental impacts. The most common negative environmental impacts that has been associated with the aquaculture include water eutrophication, water quality, alteration or destruction of natural habitats, the introduction and transmission of aquatic animal disease. So, water eutrophication, an overabundance of nutrients, primarily nitrogen and phosphorus, in water starts a process called eutrophication. Algae feeds on the nutrients, growing, spreading, and turning the water green. Algae's bloom can smell bad, block sunlight, and even release toxins in some cases. Water quality. Waste from feeding have a tremendous influence on pond water quality. Microorganisms decompose organic matter in an eaten feed and feces easily. However, the decay process removes the dissolved oxygen from the water and releases carbon dioxide, ammonia, phosphate, and other mineral nutrients. So, the alteration of destruction of natural habitats. The distribution of microbiological indicators, heterotrophic bacteria and coliforms, in the relation to the physical and chemical parameters, revealed that bentonic environment increased sediment biodecomposition, causing changes in the abundance of the composition, heterotrophic bacteria or Clastridia ratio of microflora, the introduction and transmission of aquatic animal diseases. So in addition now to the eutrophication that caused huge damage for the environmental and local fauna, the spread and the outbreaks of the disease are negative consequence of the expansion and the diversification of the aquaculture sector associated with the globalization.
Good day, everyone. I am Davey Vigueras, one of your reporters for today, and I will be tackling about the nitrogen and phosphorus loading. So the nitrogen and phosphorus loading is the support that the growth of algae and aquatic plants that which provide food and habitat for fish, shellfish, and smaller organisms that live in water. But when too much nitrogen and phosphorus enter the environment, usually from a wide range of human activities, the air and water becomes polluted. Too much nitrogen and phosphorus in the water causes algae to grow faster than the ecosystems can handle. Significant increase in algae harm water quality, food resources, and habitats, and the decrease of the oxygen that fish and the other aquatic life needed to survive. So how does nitrogen affect water? Excess nitrogen can cause overstimulation of growth of aquatic plants and algae. Excessive growth of these organisms in turn can clog water intakes, use up dissolved oxygen as they decompose, and block light to deeper waters. How does phosphorus affect water? In appropriate quantities, phosphorus can be used by vegetation and soil microbes for normal growth. However, in excess quantities, phosphorus can lead to water quality problems such as eutrophication and harmful algal growth.
So what about the uneaten feeds under the sources of waste? Solid waste are primarily derived from the uneaten feed and feces production by the cultured fish, and also from dead fish. Solid waste can be further classified as suspended solids and settled solids. The suspended solids are fine particles suspended in the water and are the most difficult type of solid to remove from the culture system. The settled solids are the larger particles that settle within a short period of time and can be easily removed from the culture column. Solid waste can be harmful to the fish and should be effectively removed as quickly as possible. These can clog the fish gills and lead to the death, especially in the case of large settled particles. If left for a long time and allowed to decompose, this waste leads to increase in both the total suspended and total dissolved solids. they may also increase the nitrogenous compounds and stress the cultured fish. If solid waste are left to remain the aquaculture system, their aerobic bacterial activity will increase the chemical oxygen demand and biochemical oxygen demand, and it deplete oxygen within the culture column. In a properly managed farm, where aqua feeds are properly stored, effectively feed and the right sizes use, approximately 30% of the feed will become solid waste. This can depend on the type of culture system, as it is easier to remove solid waste from a circulating aquaculture system than from flow-through systems. It is also nitrogenous waste under sources of waste. Nitrogenous waste tend to form toxic ammonia, which raises the pH of body fluids. The formation of ammonia itself requires energy in the form of ATP and large quantities of water to dilute it out of a biological system. Animals that live in aquatic environments tend to release ammonia into the water. Animals that excrete ammonia are said to be ammonotelic. Fecal matters. The two major sources of solid waste in aquaculture are eaten feed and undigested substances, which are passed as fecal waste in the fishes. The amount of solid waste in fish culture system and those finally released to the environment varies with fish culture system type. The amount of feed supplied and effectiveness of feeding process. Formulation of low pollution diet. Diet formulation is the process of selecting the kinds and amounts of ingredients, including vitamins and mineral supplements, to be used in the production of diet containing plant concentrations of nutrients. Aquaculture, like agriculture, is a biological conversion process of food into animal production, although it differs from animal farming in terms of waste management. For starters, predicting the feed intake and optimal feeding levels is challenging. Hence, feed waste accounts for a sizable proportion of overall waste output in the most operations. Second, garbage collection. Both solid waste and liquid or dissolved waste is challenging, and waste are quickly spread into the surrounding water. These elements cause a slew of issues that other animals has boundary enterprises aren't aware of. However, sustainable aquaculture may be maintained by limiting waste output from the source using nutritional strategies for the management of aquaculture waste, or the NSMAW. The fundamental ideas are the development of high nutrient-dense meals and efficient feeding methods based on energy data. Indirect waste monitoring and quantification are also carried out utilizing digestibility measures and comparative carcass studies. This is a biological and nutritional approach to influent analysis rather than a traditional chemical technique. These latter are time-consuming, inaccurate, and costly. Recent high nutrient-dense or low pollution diet formulations create fewer than 200 kilograms solid waste and less than 5 kilograms P per zone fish produced. However, obtaining the waste reduction necessitates fully revising feeding standards based on an average of 15 mg DE per kilogram salmonid fish produced. Hanap-hanap ka sa magdamag, sa dami